Principal Jiang, Supervisor Professor Chan, directors, teachers, parents, also students, ladies and gentlemen. It is indeed a great honor for me, for someone who had left Ying woh College, the home of our youth, nearly half a century ago, to be back as your speaker of this year's speech day, which is, to all of us, a very important and a very memorable event. You can see from my gray hair, I'm no longer a youth anymore, but I still feel like coming back home with warmth and joy. More importantly, when I came back again, I tried to practice the school song because I almost forgot that. Then I suddenly picked up the word. Then all I can say, I can humbly tell you that at least I have done, albeit in a very insignificant way, what the school song asks us to do in our journey of life. And it reads like this: may those who left thee in years that are past, like me, guard well thy honor to truth holding fast. So I picked this up for sharing with our audience here. I left Ying woh in 1965 after completing Form 7, and it should be Secondary 6 now in your case. I've been very fortunate to be taken care of by two of our legendary principals, and they are Mr. Herbert Noble and Mr. Terence Iles. Without the kindness of Mr. Noble, I might not have been admitted to Form 6 because my school cert examination was just in mid-range, not on the top rank. But Mr. Noble was kind enough to accept me. Maybe he saw that my face is rather sincere. And also, by then I was a very shy person, and without the inspiration and motivation of Mr. Iles, I would have been too shy to face the challenge of the real world. During my time, we only had two universities in Hong Kong. One is the most coveted University of Hong Kong, and the other is the then newly founded Chinese University of Hong Kong. I was not competitive enough to get a place in either of these two universities, nor could my family afford me to go overseas to further my education. I did not look back and went out to look for a job, earn a living, and also to lessen the burden of my family. I firstly worked as a secondary school teacher for 1 year, and in 1996, I was offered a job as a housing assistant in the Housing Authority. Since then, I had worked 46 years, more than what Principal Jiang said. I've been 40 years, it's 46 years. Almost non-stop, mainly in the field of housing and property development and management, both in the public and private sectors, until I retired in 2011. 2 years later, I was appointed by government to head the Urban Renewal Authority as its chairman. The authority's major task is to tackle the highly complicated and difficult problem of urban decay in Hong Kong, particularly in some of our older districts. It is really a daunting and thankless task, given the prevailing economic and political environment. It is a challenge that I gratefully accepted. I'm grateful because it gives me yet another chance to serve our community, and despite some of my friends' comments that I am back in the hot kitchen again. Of course, I'm not going to bore you with the work of the Urban Renewal Authority. You can pick some of the news from the medias. And I must say, most of them are more negative than positive. And I do hope during my tenure, I could reverse this trend as its chairman. Instead, I would like to share with you how I look at the two words. They are ideals and dreams, and how passionate a person could be in going after them. Now, talk a bit about politics. I think you all know Mr. Donald Trump, right? When he was running for his chief executive election back in 2007, I think some of our students here were then in primary 5 or 6 or maybe secondary 1. And his team created for him an election campaign slogan. I just wonder any one of you would still remember that or still remember Mr. Zhang. I don't know. Anybody who knows it, raise your hand. Well, it goes like this. I will get the job done. 我要做好，我會做好呢份工. Now you remember. Well, critics and media being media, they went all out to say, oh, what a mediocre slogan. If you give it some further thoughts, there should be a lot of wisdom in it. Now, I must say that I'm not in Mr. Zhang's camp. I didn't create this slogan, but I'm inspired by it. If you do have a desire to serve and to deliver, we must always try our very best. Like your teachers in Ying woh, apart from the normal school syllabus, you are exposed to areas like arts, music, drama, sports, and so on. As students, or as a group of students, you always try to achieve the best possible results, despite the fact that there could be failures along the way. What is more important is that we should understand the truth. There is always room for improvement. Like our Chinese proverb say, 一山還有一山高. We should graciously learn from our mistakes and failures and try to do a better job next time. This is what I call ideals. Always try to do your best and hope one day your dreams, whatever they may be, shall come true. When I first joined the government as a junior civil servant, I must admit that I did not seem to have any direction or ambition, not to mention ideals or dreams. All I knew was that if I could secure some prerequisite professional qualifications by taking examinations, I could be promoted to a certain rank and get a pay rise. So I did just that. I really don't know if I can call this my very primitive kind of ideals and dreams. But I did have a feeling that government jobs do not suit me that well. So after working for government for 6 years, I decided to take up another job in the private sector. I suddenly realized that the world was much bigger than I thought. I finally got my direction and my ambition. I embarked on a part-time MBA program offered by the Chinese University of Hong Kong by attending evening classes. And my classmates came from different professions and backgrounds. And one of the greatest benefits I got during that time was to understand how other people from different backgrounds may look at the same issue so differently as of today. But I learned how to accommodate. I also, as I told you, I didn't enter into university, but I finally realized it, my dreams of getting a degree. But having said that, I must say it came the hard way, because by then I had a young family with 2 small children. Every night I have to read them a story from the storybook and put them to sleep before I could handle my own assignments. So nothing comes the easy way. But also I learned that getting professional qualification or whatever university degrees is meaningless if we do not possess the right kind of personality and attitude, as well as the virtues that we learn progressively in our formative years, particularly when we go through our secondary education. In other words, if you are able to achieve anything you wanted to achieve, you will not gain respect from others if your mentality is questionable. Now, 196 years ago, when Ying woh College was established, our forefathers already had the ideals and dreams to provide whole-person education in Chinese 全人教育 to our students. Such vision and mission is still carrying on with great fervor by our contemporary colleagues at the school. As the school motto says, this one you should remember, I think, steadfast faith, beneficent deeds, 篤信善行. You are very lucky by being a Ying woh boy, because our school is truly committed to nurturing you to develop into a healthy and responsible citizen and inspiring you to live a meaningful life. Nowadays, as our society is getting more and more complicated, I'm glad to witness that our school is also doing a great job in preparing our young students to face the many challenges in life, hoping that one day, when you enter into the careers of your choice, you would excel. In fact, when I talked to Principal Jiang recently, I learned that our school is also helping students on life planning. In Chinese, it reads 生涯規劃, as promoted by our government. I found the Chinese term 生涯規劃 quite amusing, because the word 涯 in Cantonese is same as 捱世界個捱. It means we all got to work harder. And in fact, many years back, I had a very good mentor. He just told me one thing very simple. He said, Victor, if you want to climb up the ladder, you cannot have your hands in your pockets, isn't it? If you want to climb up the ladder, if your hands are in your pocket, can you do that? No way, right? Never mind, I'm about to finish. Now, almost coming to the concluding remark, which by coincidence is quite similar to what Principal Jiang was also doing in his school reports. He asked you to look at Mandela's or Mrs. Thatcher's quotes. In my case, I would like to invite you to visit the website and find out what the late President of the US, John F. Kennedy, said in his famous inaugural speech in 1961. entitled, "Ask not what your country can do for you. Ask what you can do for your country." And also what the American civil rights activist Martin Luther King Jr. said in his famous public speech, "I Have a Dream," in 1963. You better go to the website. You surely can find that out. By reading and understanding these two famous speeches, I'm sure you will have a better grasp of what ideals and dreams really mean. In addition, and more to the point, do you still remember recently our country's president, 習近平主席, has advocated and often talked about these days the China dream, 中國夢, and how we can play our parts in bringing this dream into reality. My dear younger brothers in Ying woh, I understand quite a number of you shall pursue your university degrees either locally or overseas. You have at least fulfilled your dreams and the dreams of Ying woh. You belong to the future generation, a generation some years down the road shall help shape the future and the well-beings of our society in one way or another. So keep your heads up. Stay happy is very important. Got to be staying happy. And healthy, also very important. The future is in your hands, and I wish you all the best. Thank you.